Iranian cluster missiles struck the last functioning water treatment and desalination facility in Israel's national water network 30 minutes ago. The last one is gone. Not the first facility, not one of several, the last one. The facility that has been carrying the entire weight of Israel's civilian water supply since the missile strikes that took every other node of the Mekerat network offline. The facility that 4 million people in Tel Aviv, the communities of the coastal plain, the hospitals running on backup generators, depended on. Cluster munitions, not a single ballistic warhead designed to destroy the facility in one impact. Cluster munitions. Cluster munitions designed to disperse submunitions across the entire facility footprint, simultaneously across the intake infrastructure, across the treatment processing equipment, across the desalination membranes, across the pumping systems, across every component of a facility that cannot function if any one of its critical systems is destroyed. Iran did not strike the last water plant to damage it. It struck it with cluster munitions to ensure that no single repair can restore it to operation. Because cluster munitions do not create one hole that can be patched. They create hundreds of simultaneous damage points. The taps that were running this morning are not running anymore. They will not run again on any timeline that matters. In the next few minutes, I will show you exactly what cluster munitions do to industrial infrastructure that no single warhead strike produces. Why striking the last facility rather than one of several changes the strategic situation from a water crisis to a water absence. Before we get into it, thanks for watching. Your support is what keeps this going. Now, let's get into it. To understand why this is different, you need to understand what cluster munitions are. A ballistic warhead strikes a single point. It produces a crater. A single ballistic warhead strike destroys the components within its blast radius and leaves the components outside it damaged but potentially repairable. The facility is degraded, its output is reduced, but the components that survive the blast radius can potentially be returned to partial operation. That is why the earlier strikes on Mekerat infrastructure produced a water crisis rather than a water absence. Some components survived. The last working water plant has been maintaining reduced but real production by operating components at maximum emergency capacity. Cluster munitions work differently. A cluster munition dispenses multiple submunitions across a dispersal pattern. It produces hundreds of individual detonation points distributed across the entire facility footprint simultaneously. The intake pumps are hit, the pre-treatment filtration systems are hit, the reverse osmosis membranes are hit, the chemical dosing systems are hit, the high-pressure pumping systems are hit, the control and monitoring infrastructure is hit. Every system, every component, every piece of equipment that the facility needs to function hit simultaneously. You cannot repair this. Cluster munitions against an industrial target do not create a repair problem. They create a replacement problem. And replacing an entire facility on the timeline that a population without water requires is not an engineering challenge. It is an impossibility.